Okay, kids, in this video we're going to talk about dot plots. Dot plots show collected data along a number line. Each dot represents one of a specified amount in the data. So if you look at this dot plot, you see that it is titled the number of snapograms per day. And so in this case, you can see that the dots represent the students surveyed, and the number line represents the number of snapograms per day that they post or take. So when you look at the data, a couple things you can figure out. Number one, you can figure out that two students, okay, they don't post any at all. They don't do any snapograms per day. And 1, 2, 3 students post 1 snapogram per day. If you wanted to know how many students post 5 per day, you could say, wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 students post 5 snapograms per day. And then you could actually say, wow, do 9 snapograms per day. You have 1 student, so 1 student's posting 9 per day. And so you can actually discover quite a bit about this data. On average, you've got about the majority of students, somewhere around in here, posting 4 to 6 snapograms per day, maybe coming this way a little bit into the 3 because you have 5 students here, but you can tell a lot from this data, okay? And this is a dot plot. Now I'm going to tell you the steps for making a dot plot. There are basically 4 steps for making a dot plot. The first step is to collect your data. The second step is basically to identify the maximum and minimum of your data. The third step is to make a number line to accommodate the range of your data. And the fourth step is to place 1 dot over the represented data amount for each time it appears in your data. Okay, so these 2 steps are probably the most complicated to actually understand, but once you see how we actually make a dot plot, it's quite simple. Okay? So let's take a look at how we actually do this. Okay? So first of all, you have to survey and come up with a question or collect some data. And so this data was based on how many minutes does it take to wash your face and brush your teeth each morning. So the question asked was, how many minutes does it take you to wash your face and brush your teeth each morning? They then went out and surveyed a certain number of people. Okay, and so these numbers indicate how many people they surveyed. Okay, in order to figure out the total number of people surveyed, you'd have to add all these numbers up. But once we've surveyed them, you then get a range of data from 0 minutes of washing time and brushing time per day to up to 12 minutes per day, okay, per person. Okay? So now that we have our data and we've identified a maximum and a minimum amount for our data, we can begin making a number line. Okay? So we're going to take and make our number line, trying to keep it as straight as possible. And it is a number line, so we're going to want to put arrows on the end. Okay? Then we want to look at our minutes because it says how many minutes does it take you to wash your face. So that's kind of the question of, we want to find out how many people are spending per minute. All right, so we have 0 minutes being done, so we have to include that in our data. So that we're going to mark 0 right there. And so that is basically our starting point. And then 12 minutes is the maximum minutes per day. So we just want to number off on our number line, and we'd break it up and we say, okay, here's, we're going to have 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes, 10 minutes, 11 minutes, and then of course 12 minutes. Okay, so the number of minutes, maximum was 12, minimum was 0, and we simply numbered our number line. Now we're going to look at our data, and we're going to place a dot, one dot for each person who brushed their teeth the 0 minutes. Well, in this case, 6 people don't spend at least a minute brushing their teeth. Hopefully they're doing it for less than a minute, but they don't spend at least a minute. So they spend 0 minutes. Maybe it's just 30 seconds, but hopefully they're doing something. So we're going to make 6 dots up above 0 minutes. Okay? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people represented that spend less than a minute brushing their teeth and washing their face. Then we have 2 people, okay, who spend at least 1 minute, okay? Take 1 minute. So we have 2 dots above the 1 minute mark. Then we say, okay, well, what about people, how many of the people surveyed spend 2 minutes brushing and washing? 3 people do. So we would then put 3 dots above 2 minutes. Okay? So you can see we have 1, 2, 3 dots above 2 minutes. Then we go on to 3 minutes, and you can see that we have 5 people, okay, 5 people who spend at least 3 minutes. So we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots there. And then we say, all right, 4 minutes. We have 2 people that spend 4 minutes. We have 5 people who spend 5 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then look at this. 0 people spend 6 minutes, so we'll put no marks up above 6. 0 people spend 7 minutes, so we'll put no marks above, no dots above 7. And then we get to 8, and we can see that 2 people take 8 minutes, so we're going to put 1, 2 dots above 8. And then 3 people take 9 minutes, so we'll have 1, 2, 3 above 9. And then 7 people do it for 10 minutes, so that is going to be a lot of dots. We have to put a total of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay? So we have 7 dots because we have 7 people who spend at least 10 minutes washing and brushing. And then our last amount is 1 person, or I'm sorry, 4 people spend 11 minutes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1 person spends 12. Okay, so they really take some time. So now that we have our data here, you can see that we took a survey and said how many minutes does it take you to wash your face and brush your teeth per day. And we surveyed a bunch of people. That's going to kind of like vary, so those would represent our dots. But what we do know for sure is the number of minutes is either going to be 0 to 12, so we would use that as our range on our number line. All right? And then we can answer some questions based on this data. Like, for example, if you needed to give people how much time would you need to give the average person to brush their teeth? Well, you might want to pick somewhere around 9 minutes because you have quite a few people who are doing it for 10 and 11 minutes and quite a few people who would easily finish it based on this amount. Okay? And so there's a lot of different questions you could ask and answer based on that data. And that's how you make a dot plot.